Hey guys, Doug Giles here. It's Warriors, Rich.
And Wildmen. What's happening, Doug Giles?
Hey buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be here live talking to my friend Doug. Not live through video, but it's live because we're live.
Hey Rich, look at me. I'm smoking a cigar.
Hey Doug, look at me. I'm not smoking a cigar and I'm mad.
I had this dipstick the other day. He was condemning me for smoking a cigar and being a Christian, and we've discussed this.
Which part did he not like?
We've just hold on, my phone's blowing up. I'm gonna turn it off right now.
It's probably him texting you. Hey Doug, was he mad at you for smoking cigars or for being a Christian?
Oh no, he was a believer, and he said I was being a bad witness, and I calmly replied, as I always do. I said, you know how many people that I've witnessed to because I smoke a cigar that would never go into church, that would never darken the Christian door.
Well, let me throw this out there. It's not even the cigar. You know what it is, Doug? You're out being around real people, being a real person.
That's what I mean.
Doing normal things. You're not out there sinning. Come on, you're not out there, doing whatever it is that these hellions are doing. You're just out there smoking a cigar and then hanging out being a person. And people like that. Then you're approachable. And
you know what? Again, it's typical. And you and I have seen this happen on Warriors and Wildmen several times, that when they dust up over smoking a cigar or whatever, then you go to their Facebook profile pic, and they weigh 900 pounds, and they've got like 7 pictures of them, with their shirts off, doing some creepy ass pose or something like that. Right. They got pictures of food, and it's like, hey, you do know that gluttony's, according to the medieval church, one of the 7 deadly sins, don't you? And they're like, huh? But anyway, hey man.
When they try to talk to you, you should tell them, hey, don't talk to me when your mouth is full.
Yeah. Put down that fork, man.
Anyway, Doug, I'm glad you're here.
Suicide by fork.
I've been wanting to talk to you about this because one of my friends sent me this new book, and I read it, and I liked it. And so I was kind of hoping to talk to the author about that book. It's Rules for Radical Christians, 10 Biblical Disciplines for Influencing Believers, written by, hey, my friend Doug Giles. Doug, this is your book. It's awesome. I loved it.
Dude, that's me, man.
I read it, every single word, every page. I know you probably didn't believe me. I read the whole thing. I blistered that book.
Isn't that pretty? Can you see it?
Looks
Can
good,
you see
man.
the cover?
I like the cover.
It's nice and tight. It's 150 pages, and it's not a long read, but I don't know too many people who want to dig into a 900-page something nowadays. And one of the greatest things about the book, Rich, is that you can read it quickly.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, there's a picture of me on the back, and you can use it for your weekend dart game.
Yeah, or target practice.
Just blast away with your assault rifle or something like that.
You know what, Doug? I think it's important that when you write a book, say what you want to say, give examples, and then shut up. I one time was sent, Charisma Magazine started sending me some books. They wanted me to start reviewing these books that they were getting ready to release. They sent me this book. Famous guy, I won't say his name. I actually like the guy. It was a leadership book. I read it, and literally one chapter in the book said anything worth reading, and the rest of it was literally the same. It was like a bunch of fluff. So they called me up and said, what'd you think about the book? And I said, well, this chapter 3, was really good, and the rest of the book was a waste of my time. And the guy laughed, and this is what he said, Doug. This is a publisher. He said, well, you have to understand, most books would make a better article. And he said, but articles don't sell, so we fluff them out and put a hard jacket on it. And I said,
Dougie, don't play that game, brother.
Send me any more books. Yeah. I don't want to read that. I don't need that. Just tell me the chapter I need. So the reason I said that is this, not just to pump you up, because you're my friend and I like you. If your book wasn't good, I wouldn't be saying this. That's a fact, because if I'm going to recommend it, I back it up. But what I thought was great about the book, Doug, is that it's not just a book that you read and get information. It's a book that's very practical. It's a book that can be used after that for home Bible studies, cell groups, and especially what I told you, Doug, when I was talking to you on the phone about it is that I think it's a great book to use for youth as a curriculum, like not a curriculum like a class, but let's take them through a process to help them get started on a mindset. So that's my first initial comment and thoughts about the book.
Yeah, it is for young people, and believe it or not, as much as you and I give young people hell, and
that's because we believe in them.
Yeah, and they also deserve it, you know. And I'm not one of those kind of parents. I didn't raise my daughters like, oh, I can't speak to you in an authoritative manner, and I'm not in a demeaning manner. But listen, man, you know, I'm large and in charge, and I don't let kids run the household, and they don't call me by my first name.
Nope.
It's sir, it's dad, it's terms of endearment, and I didn't even have to make them do it. But anyway, in this book, you know, you look at this generation like, oh my God, they're screwed. They're just absolutely screwed. They're going to grow up with stuff, Rich, that is normative to them, that would be mind-blowing to us.
Unbelievable to us.
Yeah, we're not too far removed from them from an age standpoint. But I started thinking about the attack level that this generation is under. The saturation of smut and information, the dumbing down of the American mind or the Western mind, and I was like, wow, these guys are under just full on, you know, sensory assault, and I was like, that's interesting, because I've noticed every time in history, biblical history, post-biblical history, world history, is that every time a group of people were targeted by the powers of darkness, it was usually because they represent, if the penny ever drops on them, why they were created, and what their purpose is in God, they represent a whopping of a butt kicking that they're going to deliver to El Diablo.
Yeah, the devil always tries to abort their destinies in its infancy.
Well, Proverbs 6:26 says, the adulteress seeks the precious life. And you're seeing the powers of darkness seeking early, you know, the souls of this generation. Now, you know, some dipsticks would say, well, man, that just means it's the end of the world. Jesus is coming. There ain't never been...
And then just give up and roll over. And
yeah, and that's and a lot of them are doing it. They're not thinking long term. They're not aligning themselves with the 10 disciplines that I sketch out in Rules for Radical Christians.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Okay, it's 10 disciplines. So what's the big idea of the book? What's the idea?
The disciplined mind rules. The one who's eclipsing all the other schleps in America or Western civilization or the Middle East or Asia. It's the sharp Christian who has disciplined his life according to these biblical dictates, is the one who flips the kingdoms, turns nations around, and brings the power of God to bear on those places.
So here's 10 things to help you to become disciplined to make an impact.
Yeah, and it's and it sounds great. It sounds illustrious. I'm the disciplined one, and I'm going to make impact. We've been given marching orders, whether we like it or not. To bring nations under the governance of God's word, not by sword, but by influence, through envy and through excellence. And whether the Christian, because a lot of people said, "Well, Doug, that's a tall order for most Christians." Well, Christianity's a tall order. Following Christ in a perverted and wicked generation.
That is not easy.
That's tough. And listen, Christian, if you think that what I'm talking about is just for Delta Force type Christians, Navy SEAL type Christians, spiritual warriors,
the pastor,
the eagle type Christians instead of the turkeys, you're a bubble off level. This is for everybody. Now, will everybody do it? No. Does that mean they're going to go to hell? No. Does it mean they'll probably sit in the nosebleed sections in heaven? Yes, they will. I don't think rewards are equal. And we're talking about, in Rules for Radicals, is that the young Christian, when he's faced with a bad environment, and they have a bad environment. I mean, I saw an article on Tinder today that just blew my mind, man. I mean, I knew it existed. I didn't know it. I didn't know what kind of frickin' crazy demonic hookup app that thing is. And then you got Grindr on top of that, which is just mind-blowing. Just the stream of filth going straight for the kids.
Yep.
Just absolutely going straight for the kids. So when the parents see this kind of stuff, Rich, and you know this, they're like, man, we got to separate from this stuff.
Yep.
And to a degree, they're right. However, when it comes to the biblical mandate, the Great Commission, and convert the planet mandate, and also the dominion mandate of exert stewardship over this globe that the meek are supposed to inherit, not the Muslims. You can't avoid it then.
Yeah.
If you can't change anything, you ain't gonna touch or try to understand.
Here's something that you said I think is important. You're talking about the environment that these kids are facing. Parents have to understand. They say, I know I was a teen once. You were never a teen in times like this. The wickedness is multiplied. The things that are available are nothing like anything that we've ever seen, not in America in modern times. We've never seen anything like that. So parents think they understand. I was talking to a parent recently who found out that their high school student was smoking weed. And they were obviously upset. That's what you should be. That's what you do. And then this parent told me, they said, well, I'm mad. I said, well, you should be mad. And she said, well, I am. I said, good. You should be mad at yourself. She said, wait, what? I said, yeah. You sent your child into the darkest, most perverse atmosphere and culture that exists in the earth. And then now, I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a pastor. I pastor young people. I do not know how some of these kids live for Jesus in the middle of that godless, that anti-Christ culture. I'm not trying to be this doomsday, but I'm telling you what, those teachers are against the Bible. They're against Christianity. They're against everything the Bible teaches. They love every other religion. It's not just from the teachers, it's from the students. All the opportunities for sin. I said, if you're going to be mad, you should be mad because you sent your child into that school. And I said, and if your answer or solution is to discipline them and then send them back into that environment, stay mad and get ready for them to keep smoking weed. And you know what happened?
Yeah.
They pulled their kid out of school the next day. And you know what? Their child, 3 days later, thanked them, confessed, said that they were under so much stress, they couldn't handle that environment, excited about their future. Come on, Doug. These kids will fight for it, but they're fighting for the thing that's killing them. It's like a heroin addict. You know what I'm saying? So these environments different. So this is powerful because these are practical things that if your kids are going to be in that environment, they need to understand you cannot live like that. You cannot walk by the edge. Here's 10 things that you better start getting involved in your life.
Yeah, and it's a tricky. You want to protect your kids as much as possible.
Yeah.
But to some degree, I'm getting hammered by mosquitoes right now. You want to protect your kids as much as possible, but to some degree. But then they can't be these little sheltered, nerdy, weird kids, and and you're just running from one hovel to the next and stuff. We had our girls in private school, Christian private school, and and we really didn't like that. A lot of money, and they're teaching them Bible stories, and I'm like, look, I'll take care of that. I want them to have top grade education. Yeah, and then so we put them in the public school, and in Miami, one of the best ones, 186% overcrowding. Looked like you're driving up to a frickin' prison.
Yeah.
And and they're like, Dad, please pull us out of here. And then we started the Florida virtual school. I tell parents all the time, it's like, if you hate your kids, send them to public school.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that's 8 hours a day, man. 8 hours a day when you have... Now, there's some good teachers out there.
Sure.
Okay, but the vast majority, anti-American, anti-theistic, social justice warrior type garbage. And they got your kids for 8 hours a day.
More time than we get with them.
Now, so anyway, when the teen is faced with a bad environment, and you got three options: absorb it, like you said that kid was doing. He's overwhelmed, so he just starts absorbing it. We're talking about Christian kids, and you watch a Christian kid that's not or that doesn't have a good foundation underneath him, and he goes into those environments. You get the peer pressure going on him. Next thing you know, He's doing Jello shots off a girl's chest at Nikki Beach down in Miami for spring break.
Yep.
He completely loses his conviction. And then you get the Pharisaical type Christian family who separates from the unsaved masses, and there's a us versus them spiritual xenophobia that they develop. Then you get the Daniel types that, without absorbing the culture or separating from it, they infiltrate it. They don't lose their moral bearings.
Yep.
And listen, they had a way tougher road to hoe than we do. Even think, I mean, Babylon, there was no, I mean, okay, so crap's
Babylon's
bad for kids
different.
right now. Crap's bad for kids right now. I'll give you that. But in Genesis, they're also raping angels, so, that's bad.
That's pretty bad.
And then you get Daniel and his buddies in Nebuchadnezzar, man. You got trash trucks. It's great. It's great podcast material. So you get Daniel and his amigos in Babylon, Rich. They have no social media. They have no Bible gateway. They have no Christian apps. They don't have any of that stuff, man. They don't have their Precious Moments figurine collection to motivate them when they feel sad one day. They don't have their barbecues with the buddies and the believers and high five and back slapping. They don't have Rich there to exhort. They don't have Zeke there to wow them with mental pictures through the memes and all that other crap they developed. And you know what? They didn't curl up in the frickin' fetal position, man, and wet their diaper and start smoking the Babylonian dope or turn into these, we're not going to do anything you want, Nebuchadnezzar. They would be beheaded in 1 second. They played it right, man. They played it right.
They did their best. They contributed. They were the best of the best. And then when it came down to it, they stuck to their convictions. I got 2 questions for you. I'm going to catch you off guard with these questions. Are you ready?
You're scaring me, brother. You're scaring me.
Who are you, and why do you have the right to write this book? And then there's a follow-up of that. You like that?
No, that's
just so people know, Doug did not have access to these questions before this. Who are you, and why do you have the right to write this book? I think it's a great question. And the second one you could follow up right on that is, what's unique about this book? What makes it different?
Who am I?
Who are you?
It's an existential. You know what? That'd be a good song. The Who should write that. Matter of fact.
You know what? Stick to the books. Let the Who stick to the songs. I heard you sing.
Yeah, you don't want me to sing, bro. I don't sing and I don't dance. I saw myself dancing in a mirror one time. You know how some nightclubs have those floor-to-ceiling mirrors, and I'm thinking I'm John Travolta.
John Travolta.
I was John Travolta, brother. I don't dance again, man.
You seen that
George
commercial?
Michael.
And it's got
I'm never gonna dance again.
Red
Guilty
Stripe
feet
beer.
have
Did
got
you see
no
that?
rhythm.
You see that commercial for Red Stripe beer? I think it's called Red Stripe beer, and it has like this Jamaican older black guy, and this goofy white guy, and it says Red Stripe beer helping white brothers dance since whatever year. It's great. The commercial is awesome. You'd love it.
So who am I? Well, I got converted when I was 21. I'm Doug Giles for the uninitiated, and never went to church, Rich. I thought churches were for wussies. I was right. And from the ages of 12 to 21, I did drugs, sold them, reveled in them, never wanted to be a Christian. If people said, hey, when I was young, it's like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I want to be a nice Christian and wear a cardigan. I didn't think that. I thought sex, drugs, rock and roll, fast cars, and that was it, man. I never went to church, Rich, and I mean for a funeral or a wedding, never until I got converted. And I don't know if my parents were like, we ain't letting this kid out in public around, saintly folks. And so anyway, big. I wasn't anti-God. I just looked at the Christian church.
Wasn't
like,
interested.
I don't want to be that. It's little Nancy boys, and what I saw in high school, I got the message from the Christians in high school, Rich, is that God hates me and I owe him money.
It's like, well, there you go. Well, okay, and then so you got converted, and then how long till you started the ministry?
Immediately. I've got many gifts, Richard, but one of them is that I got a big mouth, and I was like the guy who got healed from his blindness, and he's just telling everybody. And very happy of the revelation that Christ loved me. Been in the ministry, fast forward since 1983, street ministry, prison ministry, rock concert ministry, bar ministry, Started having Bible studies, man, that turned into churches, that turned into award-winning radio shows. And as far as me having street cred to write something about cultural infiltration, I was one of the first writers on townhall.com as a minister that took my idiosyncratic take on in my personal weirdness on culture, politics, and the church, and did it on the nation's largest news portal, townhall.com, and consistently had columns that were in the top 3 week after week after week. And that's without having a huge platform like Ann Coulter or Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity. And my stuff's right up there in that top tier. And struck a nerve. I think I changed the way people write and report. I put some teeth in it. I gave them, the license to be a little bit more ballsy than they were used to in a public forum. And my daughters, they're both infiltrators. They're solid Christians. Hannah took down Acorn, saved us $8.5 billion, and her movie hits theaters May 21st, Acorn and the Firestorm, that they made about her. Regis, with her Second Amendment activism and her hunting, has been featured in Elle magazine, which doesn't kindly feature conservative Christian women. Beautiful spread that they did on her in that fashion magazine, CNN. She's an author now. So, our Christianity has not been on the reservation. Yep. We've taken it off-road,
but
you've
also been a senior pastor of a church.
Yeah, and, I'm kind of dabbling with the thought of maybe getting back and saddling that again.
And then you went to seminary?
Oh, yeah, I did.
That's kind of a big deal.
Knox Theological Seminary. Got my grounding there by Dr. R.C. Sproul and D. James Kennedy and the good Dr. Fowler White and Dr. Robert Raymond. These guys are colossal giants, intellectual heavyweights, man.
So let me overview this quick. So you kind of live like a hellion, not kind of, all the way 100%. Had a radical conversion, and you've been living for God in all the different aspects, times, seasons of your life, the best that you could, infiltrating. You imparted that to your daughters, and so now you're writing a book. Not saying that you know exactly what these kids are going through, but you know what Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went through, when Nebuchadnezzar snatched them up. So relating that, you're saying, I got some expertise, and you raised some great kids. So that's pretty impressive.
And we did it in Miami and ministered internationally in South Africa and Western Europe, on a regular basis. And I learned from that is that kids, young people do want to leave a big scar on Satan's crumbling kingdom. They're just confused at how do I begin?
Where do I start? What do I do?
And that's where Rules for Radical Christians.
So what's unique about the book? Why is it different than other books?
What's unique about it? I don't. Aside from me and you talking about this, I've never seen anybody lay out, again, a blueprint.
Yep.
Okay, it's like, you want to change the world? Yes. Do you believe you have a destiny? Mm-hmm. Do you believe that God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life? You bet. Do you want to, change this planet and make Jesus so happy that you eat ice cream with him in heaven one day? Okay. Here's the blueprint. And it ain't my blueprint. This is another thing that, people are like, where'd you get these rules? Can you read? There's a book called Daniel. And in the first chapter, you don't have to even waddle through to the 12th chapter, because reading's so hard nowadays because we have the attention span of a ferret on a double espresso. In the first chapter, Rich, in the 3rd and 4th verse, it tells the young Christian who wants to do big things like Daniel and his amigos did, it tells them what caused the wicked king, via God's sovereignty in directing that king, to choose these 4 lads. And they overthrew, again, a kingdom that I think makes postmodern America still kind of look like a kibbutz, still kind of look like, they didn't have the biblical trappings and the sources of encouragement and knowledge that we do, and they did it. So
yeah.
I think it's unique. Again, it's a blueprint. It's a war manual.
That's cool, man. I think that's awesome, because I want to throw this out there. I've been a Christian for almost 27 years. almost 27 years. I've read the Bible, from front of the page to maps. 30
Table of contents to
times,
maps, man.
30 times, more than that. That's not counting studying. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying and I've read I don't know how many
brother,
books.
brag.
I've ministered around the world, but I could tell you, I read that book and I enjoyed it. I read it because I wanted to read it, and I was inspired. A lot of times we're not even trying to teach somebody something. We're reminding somebody of something. You see that in the Bible all the time. It's one of the greatest things. Like when me and you talk, Doug, and you tell me a Bible verse, you're not trying to teach me something. Most of the time, you're reminding me of something. And I think for me, that was a great thing about the book is having, been in ministry that long. That book was reminding me of a lot. I did learn a lot of things, but it was reminding me of a lot of things, and that's
right.
encouraging. So I think at that level, it's important. I think as a pastor or a leader, I think this book is very valuable. Like I told you before, we're going to use it with our young people to teach them right through the chapters and teach the kids. It's very practical. It's a book that you can totally use. I think for a parent, it's important for parents. Parents need to get it and read it. And then I'm going to put it in the hands of my kids, Doug. I'm going to have them read it. I'm going to be talking back and forth with them because I think it's important that they get these principles, they understand them. Because if you don't know them specifically from your book, you're going to need to know them at some time in your life. It's not things that you can do without it.
I've got pastors that are buying cases of these books, and you brought up the aspect of parents, and not only are they taking the kids in their college groups and their high school groups through the book, but then they're strongly suggesting that the parents also drink deeply
100% agree
of this little 150-page book, so that they can model it, because things are caught more than they are taught. And if your Christian kid is a clunk, it's probably because mom and dad is, or you got them in some stupid church that focuses on the inane instead of the important. But one of the things that that I dig about this, and the people and my colleagues that I follow and hang out with, is and this is a complete mind change I think that makes this book unique and brings some kind of weird particular to the table with it. This is about influence. And a lot of Christians, man, they don't think, I want to be an influencer. They think, I want God to bless me. I want God to give me a wife that looks like Selma Hayek and has the heart of Mother Teresa.
And I need some more stuff.
And it's just all on them. It's all God bless me, God make me comfortable, God give me more money. This book is, I want to come in and influence. Everywhere I go, I want this thing to be on me, to where wicked people and saved people seek out my presence and my wisdom.
Yep.
And it's not to look at me, I'm so shiny and pretty. This is what God's called us to do,
That's
man.
Right.
We're not to be followers. We're not to be we the sheeple. We're to be leaders, influencers that have maximum impact, that brings God's glory and leavens places that are filled with wickedness, and do it in a big bang type way.
Yep. And you're talking about not letting culture affect you, but going in and influencing and affecting the culture. And the reality is the light shines brightest in the darkness, man. These are dark times, and some kids that'll get on fire, that'll get lit up, man, they can make a difference. And I think this book is a great place to start.
Again, look at Daniel and his guys.
They got lit on fire. Come on, somebody.
That place is completely demonic, and they weren't like, I'm going to run and hide from this. They're like, okay, we're here. And you know what? We're 10 times better than everybody else.
Yep.
We're endowed with understanding. We have intelligence in every science.
And we got the Holy Ghost.
We understand your literature. We understand your language. We understand your philosophy. And you know what? We don't treat you like a contaminant.
Come on.
We're the contaminant. We're the one who are here to help you.
Yep.
And when the king had his nightmare, who did he call upon? Called upon Daniel.
Yep.
Told all the other guys, said, if you misinterpret my dream, or if you can't recount the dream that I had that I'm not going to tell you about, then you know what? I'm going to tear you limb from limb.
Yep.
And Daniel's like, whoa.
Yeah, he was tired of lies, man.
King's skipping a step here.
Hey, that's a whole nother sermon, Doug.
He's like, I'll interpret your dream, but you got to tell me you're going to spare these knuckleheads that you got around you,
Yep.
that can't tap into what I tap into. That's a whole different Christianity, brother.
Yep.
That's a whole different type of believer. It's a whole different mindset. And to me, bro, you know me, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
You know, regular church, regular Christians, cover dish dinner, Christian concert. Shoot me in the head. I'm not interested in that. I want, you know, look at Hannah's like my oldest daughter when she's 18 years old. You know, she's like, God, you know, what can you do with me? I want you to use me. In 1 year, she brought down Obama's claim to fame, Acorn.
Yeah.
Saved us billions of dollars. They made a movie about it, and it's the only time in Obama's 2 terms was there a unanimous bipartisan vote in both houses, and it was to defund Acorn based upon her infiltration. That's epic.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And you know what, Doug? But that's the stuff that you taught your kids that's in this book, that we need to get it into the hands of our young people, get it in the hands of our parents, get it into the hands of ministers and leaders in the church, and we need to
Rich,
get it on.
And going back to the parental aspect of, you know, the parents getting onto rules for radical Christians, you're right. Hannah and Reed heard us talk about this before it ever took book form. They saw us embody this. They saw, you know, my former partner was a diplomat to Saudi Arabia under Ronald Reagan's administration. We had rock stars. We had bikers. We had lawyers. We had doctors. We had missionaries. Every one of them came in to our family's equation on purpose because I wanted my daughters to see, you know, that Christianity isn't, you know, just us four and no more. It's not just singing simple songs to a beat any clunk could dance to. This stuff is about going into culture, business, politics, the arts, entertainment, and being a Christian there and leavening that culture, you know, with biblical influence without being a jerk.
Yep.
And we grew up, we raised the kids on purpose like that.
Yeah.
And the parents, if you're not doing that, then as soon as they hit the college campus, as soon as they hit high school, they're done.
Yep.
They won't survive. They'll chew them up and spit them out. They'll be greeted, Rich, by Timmy and Tommy, the transgender testicle twins, and they'll have rubbers handed to them. They'll have, you know, arranged marriages and all kinds of weird stuff, cry rooms, and all this other social justice.
They will know
warrior.
if they're boys or girls. They can be whatever they want to be.
And if they don't have a true apologia for that which they say that they believe, then they're going to be mincemeat. And parents, you can't fob that job off to some spike-haired youth pastor.
Yep. Get the
As
book,
good
guys.
as-
Get the
as-
book. You
yeah.
got to get it and read it. I'm telling you. It's Rules for Radical Christians, 10 Biblical Disciplines for Influential Believers. Doug Giles, get the book. And I'll tell you what, we'll make this guarantee. If you don't like it, you can give it to a real Christian. How about that? There's your guarantee. Warriors and Wildmen, look us up, follow us, subscribe to our podcast, like us on Facebook, leave us a comment. We'll comment back. Be rowdy, be radical. Doug, what do you say about that?
I like it. I know it's only rock and roll, but Rich, I like it.
Hey, if it's a long way to
Hey,
the
thank
top,
you, brother.
Doug, if you want to
Thank
rock
you.
and roll.
Yeah. Hotel, motel, make you want to cry.
Hey, Warriors and Wildmen, outie like your belly button.
Peace.